How would you like to crack the code to having an incredibly successful real estate career and then obtaining the code inside of you to be an incredibly successful realtor? Yes, my friend, there is a realtor code. Hi, I'm Mark McInerney, President and CEO of CodeMark Financial. Welcome to Mortgage Money Genius, where we teach realtors just like you the code, the most important code inside of your career, inside of every real estate transaction that you ever do, which is what? The mortgage process. We've been talking about underwriting. We are rounding out week 4 inside of underwriting. Do me a favor, sit back, relax. 3, 2, 1, off we go.
I just wanna be your superstar, 'cause it's not where you are, it's where you are.
Okay, my friend, so we'll take a quick moment here just to look at everything that has been discussed. You write sales contracts for roughly 30 days. We say 30 days is about 4 weeks. Inside of underwriting, we call it that there's roughly a 4-week process. And you know what? There's actually a reason why that these sales contracts are written for this duration. Yeah, some loans can go quicker and some loans can take longer, but there is a timeline and time frame that actually takes place with the part that makes all this happen, and that's inside underwriting. So we talked about week 1 was gathering those loan documents and submitting it to the lender. Week 2 was receiving a conditional approval to allow the buyer to move to the next stage of gathering documents on them, and then the mortgage team to be able to order third-party items. Those third-party items being, connecting with the title team, getting title commitments and tax certificates on the property, the buyer ordering homeowners insurance, the lender connecting with the AMC or the appraisal management company to order the appraisal, make sure that the house is worth the money that the bank is going to give out for it and that the seller is trying to sell it to the buyer for. And then week 3 is getting all of that stuff back, right? I don't need to outline it again. You get it. Those were the pitches that were thrown. Now the pitches are coming back. And now week 4 is where it all comes together. And it's infinite, in total. Es todo. Hey, it's clear to close. And very simply, all that takes place here, my friend, is everything that was collected and everything that was initially suggested. And I say initially because underwriters are human beings too. And they make mistakes. And they don't always know what's right inside of the guidelines because there's so many of them. It's like literally trying to memorize every single law book that exists. It's impossible. But what happens, though, is they go back and take all of the paperwork, or all of this stuff, all the paperwork that was collected for 3 weeks, basically, and they spread everything out, and they look at it, and they say, okay, am I still good with this, with this, with this, with this, with this, with this? And in a lot of cases, they'll even connect with a superior, with a senior underwriter to double and triple check their work to make sure that they say, yep, good job, junior underwriter. Go ahead and issue the clear to close. And that's pretty much how simply it is done. That's it. That's what should happen in week 4. And yes, as I mentioned, these things could happen sooner. And that is ideally what you, me, and everybody typically likes. And yes, of course, sometimes it could take longer. And what might throw a curveball, using the example of the baseball analogy I said last week? Well, the curveball could be something else comes up. Something else comes up with, in week 4, let's say, ordering a verification of employment. In ordering the verification of employment, what happens if the buyer's not working there anymore? That's a whole nother issue, right? But that stuff comes up. What if there was a random deposit? Oh my goodness. Now we have to source that. Here's the part that nobody really likes. Buyers get super excited that they're getting ready to buy a house. What do? They go up and start either shopping for those big screen TVs and those couches that they're going to fill this home with. And they rack up some debt. And does that affect their credit score? Does that affect their debt to income ratios? Again, the variables are aplenty. Of course, with proper education and guidance in the beginning, a buyer can be directed as to how to just be cool, and sit still for these 4 weeks while we wait for ultimately a clear to close. And I did mention here lastly, it could also be a piece that is needed is to get the interest rate locked if that hasn't been done in the beginning. We're going to talk about interest rates, the timing of when those should be locked during the process in some of our coming episodes. Take a quick look as my man Freddie pulls up the recap, and I'll be right back. Well, that just about does it. And the reality is this is about all the piece that you really need to know unless you're going to come over and become a mortgage professional, which might be something to consider. Because part of the reason of teaching this to you is what is the added value to the customer? What would a customer feel if they had a professional? Don't label it a mortgage professional or a real estate professional, but a professional to handle the entire home buying or home selling process. And just think, I want you to really just think in this moment, where is the part that you lose control in this situation? It's in these 4 weeks. It's in these 4 weeks. Countless amount of real estate agents that I've interviewed always say, usually the same headaches. The mortgage person doesn't communicate. So, I mean, you're literally left there just like, I don't know. And then guess who do you tell you don't know? To your client. Does that make you feel good when you tell them that? It doesn't. It doesn't. Because you're like, gosh, I feel like I should know, which creates an element of frustration, which makes you want to know more. Enter Mortgage Money Genius. And this, my friend, is why we're teaching you this, because this is how you become a superstar. This is the code inside of real estate. Join us next time because we're going to be going in a little bit further on more of the math beside all of these pieces inside the mortgage game. Thank you for joining us all the time. Like, comment, and share. Pass this along to those other superstars like you that want to be superstars also. I'm Mark McInerney, President and CEO of Codemark Financial. We'll see you.